Hi everyone, on today's episode I'll be using a dichroic cube. So for those of you who don't know what a dichroic cube is, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, it's a special arrangement of filters and prisms that can reflect different colours of light in different directions. When the light enters one face of the cube, the special nanometer thin coatings inside the prism either reflect or pass the light depending on its wavelength. These coatings are called dichroic coatings, meaning two-coloured, in reference to the two colours that split off when they encounter the coating. And if you look closely inside here, you can see the cross where the two coatings are. Now this cube is definitely cool to look at, but I wonder if I can make it better. Now my plan is to turn it into a sphere like I did with the Rubik's Cube. Now I'm not too sure if we're going to get this cool illusion, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Now in order to turn this cube into a sphere, I need to cast it in epoxy resin. Now it's really crucial that this cube stays in the centre, so the first thing I need to do is pour myself a base layer so it's got something to sit on. Now that my cube is glued into position, I can start mixing up some more epoxy to pour over the top. And this time, I remembered my gloves. Now this should be a straightforward casting, but just in case something does go wrong, I'm going to run PodCam. this has been in the pot curing, I've been having to think about it. Do you think the light is still going to be able to penetrate the cube? Because once it's a sphere shape, won't that stop the refraction? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to get this on a waste block and start turning it on the lathe. Now normally I'm able to save my cups, but it looks like this one saw a fair bit of heat, so I'm going to have to cut this one off. Now I don't often do this, but because the cup had melted, I couldn't quite see the cube inside, and when I mount my sphere jig, I need to make sure it's lined up with the centre of the cube. So I'm just going to give this a quick sand and a polish, that way I can mark it. It's still a bit hard to see, but I think I got it. Well, that was close. Did you see it start wobbling? I definitely pushed my luck there. It's now at the stage where I normally part it off and then put it between the cups to give it a sand and a polish. but as you can see, the ball is quite small and doesn't quite fit in the cups properly. So what I'm going to do with this one is leave it on the waste block, give it a sand and a polish, and then when I'm done, I'll part it off and then round off the bottom. Let's just hope I don't snap it off while I'm sanding. That is looking very wobbly. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't fall off. Well, I got that worried it was going to snap. I've just added some 5-minute epoxy to the base. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but it's definitely worth a go. Well, it just survived half an hour's worth of sanding. Let's see if it can survive some polishing. Well, it survived the polish, so all I have to do now is part it off and clean up the bottom. Actually, I don't need to part it off. I just cut that off with a saw. How easy was that? When I first thought of making this project, I was originally going to use a big cube, but after seeing the price of them, I decided on the smaller one, and now that I've finished this one, I really want a big one. Now remember when I said the light might have trouble reaching the cube because of the sphere? I think it has had an effect, but I want you guys to tell me what you think. Let's take a closer look. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.